Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. And I hope this video finds you well, finds you healthy. Just want to talk briefly this evening or morning, whenever you catch this, because it gets released at 6:30 in the morning. And just want to talk about a few things. I've talked about last couple of videos. I sort of mentioned identity and identity crisis and why we do certain things in our life. And what we need to understand is that the system is purposely designed to keep us in financial bondage. And how can I say that? Because some folks can't live if they don't buy name brand everything. And for black people who do this, they are actually enslaved to white people's products. And I'm not putting white people down, but I'm just saying we're enslaved to white people's products because they have a name on them. Who owns Nike? Who owns Polo? Who owns Carl Kanai? Who owns Michael Kors and Gucci and stuff like that? And so it ain't black folks, but we gotta have it. And you know, and for those who don't really get caught up in the name brand clothes, they get caught up in name brand gadgets. You know, some have to have the top of the line vehicles to make them feel special. And all of it's actually designed for the reason that I stated when I started off, to keep us in financial bondage, keep us thinking about making ourselves feel good because we don't know our true identity. Because when you really find out who you are and you have a positive self-image, you love yourself, you don't need name brand, nothing. I mean, look at retail shopping in stores and in online. I mean, I worked retail for a number of years. My wife met it at one of the places that we worked together. But if you talk to anybody in retail, they hate holidays. And we have MLK Day. It's supposed to be celebrating a man that supposedly fought for civil rights. You heard me say supposedly. And you have Valentine's Day. A day where you're supposed to set aside and show your significant other that you love them. Well, what about the other 364 days in a year? You don't show them love then, but you put money in somebody's pockets. You got March Madness sales. I mean, how many of y'all play college basketball? You got Grandparents' Day sales. I mean, why are you not celebrating your grandparents anyway? You don't need to buy your grandparents items, goods, and services to show them that you appreciate them. We have Mother's Day. Ooh, that's a big one. I mean, everybody put out all the stuff for their mamas. You got Father's Day. Fathers end up having to cook for their own day that's supposed to be celebrated. They might get some socks or a tie or a belt or a wallet or something like that. But you're still spending money. You got Memorial Day. And we just had, that just passed, some weeks ago. And even after Memorial Day is over, a week later, they still showing Memorial Day sales on television. Independence Day just passed. And you're going to have ads running, after that. You still got ads running after that talking about we still have Independence Day sales. You got Labor Day coming up. I guarantee you the sale is going to be going on. They're going to be advertising before the day. They're going to be advertising Labor Day sales after the day. You got Halloween. I mean, we're around, and I mean, I celebrated as a kid, but as I got older, I understand the actual meaning behind it. And like I said, I work in retail in various capacities, different office supply, drug stores, and stuff like that, and electronic stores, bargain basement stores. I've worked retail in a lot of different venues and backgrounds. And so, last place you want to be working with holidays too is a place that sells candy. And because you always got to set a new set of candy for whatever day is coming up. But you got Halloween sales. And you got Thanksgiving sales. And, you know, a day you're supposed to be celebrating what you're thankful for, you out spending more money. You got Christmas sales, you know, Black Friday. And you got Siblings Day. You got sales for that. You got Administrative Assistant Day. Sale for that. I mean, there's a place where you can get cupcakes, and they always send you emails. You know, get your administrative assistant a cupcake to celebrate them. And as I said, you got Black Friday, you got Spring Black Friday, you got Summer Black Friday. So y'all don't even know about all them probably. You got back to school sales, you got Columbus Day sales, and if you study who Columbus was, you know there's information out there that he was a pedophile and a rapist and a homosexual. And then look at what he did to the Native Americans, and all the Native Americans. Y'all think it's some other Native Americans in there that weren't like that don't look like the people that y'all think that history told y'all they were. And that's why Columbus brought a Hebrew translator with him. And so you're celebrating a guy who plundered and went and came to steal and kill and destroy. So you got President's Day sale. And why are we celebrating presidents anyway? I mean, look at what we've had the last 15, 20, 25 years. Both parties. I don't care who you voted for. You don't celebrate them. They're not elected anyway. That's why you have the electoral college. They're going to give you who they want you to have. And I know you got a lot of people that's heavily involved in politics say, yeah, we need to keep the system as it is. And I started studying and finding out a little bit more about their background and what they actually believe in, and that made me understand why they say these things. But you got New Year's Day sales. You got tax savings day sale. They started out with back to school tax saving day. Now you got hardware store tax saving day. You got all these, you got electronics tax saving day. So you got Christmas in July. You got Easter. You got Cyber Monday. And all these things are geared to take money out of your pocket. Now, all of these things are on top of your car notes, your house note, your gas, insurance, registration for your car, utilities, security, health insurance, upkeep for your home and vehicles, property taxes. I mean, come on. This whole thing has been geared to drive us toward poverty living, and we don't even see it. We continue to put down capitalism, but we keep taking our capital, giving it away. And I mean, when I'm an advocate for capitalism, I'm not an advocate for crony capitalism, which is what we're seeing most in this country. I even wrote in a book, but hey, what do I know? That what we think has been capitalism in this country has actually been a hybridized system of economics. It hasn't been true capitalism. Because if you had true capitalism, you wouldn't have as much poverty in this country alone with all of this wealth that's supposed to be going around. But it's remaining in the hands of less than 100 people. So then you have to pay for lunch for your kids when they go to school every day. And what does it cost to even send your kid to a private school? What's that tuition look like? And nowadays, you know, on top of all the taxes you pay, you know, you pay for school taxes. And many school districts have actually started charging kids to represent their school in extracurricular activities. We paid for a physical when I was in school to play football, basketball, run track. We didn't have to pay for the uniforms. We didn't have to pay our own way to games and track meets. We earned our Letterman's jacket. We didn't have to pay for our Letterman jacket after we put in the work to earn it. They're charging these kids for all of that to represent the school. So when you add up all of these taxes that you're illegally paying, you know, and see, I don't even understand it. Just taxation is theft, and that's how they use it to beat us into submission. To tell us, you know, we're going to prison if we don't comply. So by the time you add up all of these things that we're spending money on, all these things that we're spending taxes on, 50% of your income is gone before you ever get to take anything home. That's why they call it take home pay. Because you can't afford to go nowhere once you come home. Once you see all the money that's been sucked out of your paycheck before you get it. That's why they came up with direct deposit. It had nothing to do with making it easier for you. It had something to do with making it easier for your creditors and your lenders. That's who they were making it easy for them to get direct access to your money instead of waiting on you to write a check. So if you got the opportunity to take all of your income home first with no taxes taken out of it, and you are actually forced to make tax payments out of your money, I guarantee your whole mentality will change and you might revolt. So they put the system in place to keep you humble, docile, and in bondage. And we believe it's supposed to be that way. Do you realize from 1776 to 1913, this country operated with no taxation? Zero. And just in the last 108 years, look at all the taxes that we've paid into this system. But for over, what's that, 137 years, this country operated without taxation, period. But in the last 108 years, look at the amount of money that's been taken from us, stolen from us through taxation. So the job is to keep us in bondage, and we think it's supposed to be that way because that's the way it's always been done. Excuse me. We blame Republicans. We blame Democrats. We blame our bosses. We place blame everywhere except where it needs to be placed. And that is the people who run and control the system. The system has us in so much financial bondage that when our kids want or need something, even if it is significant, we tell them we can't afford it. One of the things I was taught years ago, say stop saying what you can't do and start rephrasing. So when you hear somebody say they can't afford something, you change that and say, how can I afford something? So we hear that phrase so often that it actually becomes part of our subconscious mind. And it actually carries over into our adult lives because we're programming our kids every time we say something like that. And once it carries over into our adult lives and then we have children, the cycle continues to repeat itself for many more generations to come behind us. You know, age 0 to 7, and when I say 0 in the womb to age 7, is when the most effective life programming actually occurs. And many of us have set our children up to be in worse bondage than us. We have given them bad financial programming, poor money lessons, and more ways than one. My wife and I were talking one day, and we both agreed that neither of our parents taught us about money, and that the broke brain concept has to stop with us. Regardless of how well you think you're doing, if you have debt, car notes, and a house note, you're broke. Let me clarify debt. Robert Kiyosaki explains that there are two types of debt. There's one good and one bad. He says consumer debt is bad, but proper business debt is good. And he has a lot of teaching where he goes through and explains that stuff. And you know, he's the guy that created the Rich Dad Poor Dad series, and you know, it might do you some good if you got your hands on what they call a purple and black series and educate yourself on some of that stuff. And you know, according to Dr. Bruce Lipton, have what we call hypnotic programming. And, he say we received that from age 0 to 7. And what we were programmed with from age 0 to 7 is actually dictating our entire lives, according to Dr. Lipton. And he actually explains that's the reason we feel we are doing all of the proper things in life, but we still continue to struggle. Because the only way to change the programming is through what he calls speaking repetition, or what we like to call affirmations. And, I know a lot of people say, a lot of so-called religious people, you can't speak nothing into existence that God don't want to be. Well, I'm not saying you're going to change God's plan, but God's word is full of scriptures that said you speak into existence what isn't, so that it can become what is. And say the tongue is a mighty force. But and I know the reason it's taken on a negative connotation is because you got a lot of these prosperity preachers who got up there and just went to town with it, and that's all they were teaching. Money, money, money. Money coming. Bring me that money. And the only one who was getting rich off of that, or getting better financial blessings with that, was the ones that was teaching it. You still going into debt. Because the Bible says you're snared by the words of your mouth. I heard another guy put it another way years ago. He said you live a crap life because you've been speaking crap words. And there's life and death in the power of the tongue. That's out the Bible. The tongue is a tiny part of the body, but it causes much destruction. So if your tongue can cause much destruction, it can also cause much greatness. Your life, as you and I are living right now, can be attributed to our programming and the types of conversation we've had with other people throughout our lives. But more importantly, the things we've been saying to ourselves about ourselves is really what's controlling us. When you speak that no one likes me, people stay away from you. When you say I don't want to be rich, rich people evil, money is evil, money and riches will avoid you. When you tell yourself that's hard finding a decent mate, guess what? You're going to attract all types of substandard riffraff. If you tell yourself it's hard to lose weight, it's going to be hard to lose weight. And the reason behind this is because we are verbally telling our subconscious mind what to do. And because the subconscious mind willingly takes orders, it carries out the commands that we've given it. We've got to change our programming through verbal repetition and thought. And see, that's why we have a lot of people out here got to buy name brand everything, because they don't understand the power of the Bible and what the Bible's teaching. And it's kind of a sad situation. So we get caught up in the consumerism instead of learning our identity and learning some self-love. And so we go spend all of our money on consumer goods. Then we wonder why we broke in more ways than one. And I remember years ago seeing, when concerts were a big thing, music concerts were a big thing. You look at the white groups, rock and roll groups, and I like all types of music. And they have a concert, and they be in t-shirt and blue jeans, tennis shoes. See them all black group, they decked out. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with looking good, but there's a difference in mentality. The people are going to come see you perform either way it goes, regardless of what you're wearing, if you're producing good music. And so we spend a lot of our money, as I've stated before, on name brand items because we don't know who we are. And what if you took some of that money and you start investing it, and investing in yourself, educating yourself? Instead of buying name brand stuff, start buying your books and attending seminars and things like that, so you can create products that other people want to buy, instead of going out there spending all your money on other people's products. We got to learn. I read a book years ago called Prosumer Power, and he talks about how to be a producer in society while consuming goods and services. He talks about how to make the goods and services that you purchase benefit you and your family financially. I mean, it's a win-win situation, but so many people are blind by it. But they get caught up in and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but you got things like racketing out there. You make a purchase, you get a little bit of money, and little is the key. And but we got to come up off of this stuff. We can't sit there and keep blaming, especially as black people. We can't keep blaming white America for everything when we're taking all of our money, giving it back to white America. That doesn't make sense. You won't buy black, and so you don't understand the dynamics that go along with a lot of black people when they get into business. They don't get the goods and services they sell for the same price that others get it for, because the system is designed for black goods to be priced higher than everybody else's. So black people won't shop with black people. Nobody else is going to shop with black people. And so it's designed for black businesses to fail. You got to understand all of these dynamics in play. And on the flip side of that, if you're going to be in business, you make sure your customer service is top notch. Don't create an environment where black people don't want to do business with you. Because there's some black businesses I will not do business with ever again. But we got to change our mentality. We are the largest consumers in this country, black people. Everybody else around here getting higher degrees, education, starting businesses, even without the degrees, and they becoming successful in their endeavors. And we're around here still scraping the bottom of the economic barrel, like I mentioned on the video some weeks back. I guess about 3-4 months back when I did that video, when I showed the average income by race in this country. We are scraping the bottom of the economic barrel because we're largely a consumer-minded people, and it doesn't make sense. We're upset. A few weeks back, at the anniversary of the burning down of Black Wall Street in Tulsa, we're upset. Why didn't they teach us this? Well, better question I have for you: why didn't you study it yourself? Why didn't you research it yourself? I've talked about it a lot. I've talked about other black successful enclaves that were around the country. The Negro Wall Street in North Carolina. That preceded the one in Tulsa. You had the Deuce in Richmond, Virginia. You had Black Bottom up in Detroit. And there are a few others. I know what I'm talking about. I'm seeing a name, but I'm drawing a blank on the actual name. But there are a few others. I talked about quite a few of them in the book. There were actually successful black enclaves. But we only hear about Black Wall Street in Tulsa. And we want to get upset and, why they didn't teach us. The school system was never designed to teach black people their history. That's why the public school system was created. When John Rockefeller created the General Education Board, the whole premise behind that was to take black kids out from under the leadership of their parents and the churches, because the church and the school was used as the same building back then. So the whole idea of the General Education Board was to take black kids from under their own color leadership. So y'all don't even understand the history of this stuff. And to educate black kids the way they wanted us educated. That's why we don't know anything. And we so caught up with integration back then, so caught up with integration right now, but we still complaining about the same stuff from years and decades ago. You sitting there, we keep waiting for the system to teach us our history. The system was never designed to teach us our history. The system was designed to make sure we got away from our history. They didn't want us educating our kids. teaching them our history. That's why they separated them when they put them on them slave ships and brought them here. Because they didn't want the parents, the fathers and the mothers to be able to tell their kids who they were. And the longer you keep generations away from each other and you keep separating them, they can't pass on their heritage. They can't pass on the awareness of who they are. And we want to sit around here and talk about the identities. As I stated before, let's see how many y'all are going to do things now to teach your kids. So they through talking about Black Wall Street. Are you going to sit around on your rear end and wait for the next time that you see it on television about something that's prominent in Black history in this country? Or are you going to do your own diligence and get up off your butt, get from in front of that TV trying to watch the NBA, NCAA, NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball, off your little black soap operas, that come on at night? What's that? I saw something, Saints and Sinners or something like that, and I didn't even know what it was. I just saw advertisement on TV. I don't know, what's that? And we'll sit there and we'll focus our time on all that garbage, but we won't teach our kids our history. We won't even learn our own history for ourselves, even if we don't have kids. But we want to sit here and keep complaining about the system. We'll get caught up in the system consumerism. We get caught up in the system programming. We get caught up in the system education. We done got caught up in the system teaching of the Bible. See, the Bible is a Black history book, but you ain't gonna hear none of your pastors teach you that. See, I don't read the Bible like that archaic meaning that I was raised on. I read the Bible like it's a storybook every time I read it, because it is a storybook. You got faiths out there that don't believe in the Bible. They'll tell you, this, and they'll tell you that, Jesus wasn't the Son of God. And the things in the Bible are not to be taken literal. They're to be taken figurative. And so we get caught up in all of that stuff, but we won't educate ourselves on our own history. Take away Booker T. Washington. Take away W.E.B. Du Bois. Take away Frederick Douglass. Take away Madam C.J. Walker. Take away Martin Luther King. Take away Barack Obama. Take away... She ain't black, so I ain't going to even mention her name. But take away Jesse Jackson. Take away Al Sharpton. What do you have left in your household? What Black history do you have left in your household if you take all those names away? Be honest with yourself, because I'm not sitting there with you while you listen to this. Take away all of those Black names out your household, out your history. And I'm not saying get rid of them. I'm just saying take them out of your mentality. Tell me what you got left. Tell me what Black history you got left. Do you know Annie Turnbull Malone? Do you know S.B. Fuller? Do you know Philip Payton? Do you know Reginald Lewis? Do you know any of those names? I mean, you might have heard of Philip Randolph. What about Kelly Miller? Do you know about these people? What about James Jones? I mean, what have you done? What do you know about the Black Railroad Station, Railroad Depot over in Arkansas that they tore down to put President Bill Clinton's presidential library on that black piece of history? But y'all love Billy, Slick Willie. But they destroyed y'all history to build his presidential library. What about that? What you think about that? What do you know about Lois Lippman? I mean, Be honest with yourself. I mean, I could sit here and give you names and names and names and names, and I could still be talking to you with the names for about another week or two about black people that have attained great success in this country that we've never heard of. What about the black guy who actually started building cars before Henry Ford? And when his two sons got of age, they came into business with him. And once Henry Ford came along, guess what happened? He stopped buying his cars so we can get that Model T. And so he had to, C.R. Patterson is his name, just so you know. Him and his sons went into the bus making business because they couldn't compete in a car manufacturing business anymore because we started buying from Henry Ford. What have I told y'all? Y'all think because it's made by white, it's got to be right. And if it's made by black, y'all tell us get to the back. And so y'all don't even know your history, but y'all want to sit here and complain about not being taught. Why don't you do some research? I got a whole lot of books. Whole lot of books. Got a whole lot of audios. Got a whole lot of videos. I mean, it's just so many people out there that have done great things in our race and in our culture. But we love the system. And I'm going to say this again. Miles Monroe said, we hate the oppressor, but we love his oppression. So we keep complaining about him, but we keep doing everything in our power to make sure we keep them happy. When are you going to do something to educate yourself and your kids? So somebody, and then, you know, I love being around my grandmother when she was living and just hear her tell stories. What stories are you going to have to pass down to your kids, your grandkids? What history can you teach your grandkids? I mean, I talk with my grandmother a lot. My grandmother grew up in northern Louisiana, a place called, well, you know, the bigger city. I mean, it's not big, but the bigger city is Natchitoches. But my grandmother grew up in a place called Melrose. And so she started telling me about their family and working on them slave plantations over there. And, you know, I learned about a cousin, you know, she got exploited over there. She was an artist and got exploited by white folks, and they took all of her art, and now they still selling her art. And she's been dead for decades. But they've gotten her art, but they never compensated her for the work that she did. How many of you got stories like that in your family that your kids don't know about, that your grandkids don't know about? And I told you before, when I created the very first video on this channel, free blacks who own slaves, you know, regardless of how many names I got called on that video, one of the families I found in doing the research is some of my wife's ancestors. She didn't even know it, because we have a tendency in our black cultures to keep all of our dirty secrets hidden. Instead of saying this happened, you know, we're not that type of people anymore. You know, okay, that happened, you know, it wasn't good, but we're going to be better people than that. So, you know, I can't hold my wife or her parents responsible because nobody in their ancestry shared that information with them. I never got a chance to meet her mother, but I, you know, did meet her father, you know, before he passed on, and he passed a month after we got married. And so we got all these secrets around here. Our kids don't know anything. And in spite of me talking to my grandmother as much as I did, there are so many unknowns in our family. And on my biological dad's side, there are so many unknowns in my family. And because these ancestors are gone now, they're going to always be unknown. So we sit here and we get mad, but at the same time, we don't do anything. We love to complain, but we don't want to do anything to change the complaining. We just love to complain. And we're going to have to come off of that stuff. Start educating your kids. Start teaching your kids identity. And identity has to come from the father. So if you're not with the father, I don't know what to tell you. Um, Unfortunately, women are not geared to pass identity to the kids. That's why the woman takes the man's last name. That's why the kids take the man's last name. And when you have, and I'm not putting down anybody's culture, but when you have these cultures out here that they're married and, the child gets the woman's last name, I mean, in my opinion, that's a problem. You can pretty much guarantee that there's not a lot of submission in that relationship from wife to husband. I mean, what did the Bible say about traditions? Because I know a lot of that's tradition, but when them Pharisees and Sadducees came to Jesus, and yo men don't wash their hands, and when they eat, and Jesus said, "Why are you stuck in your traditions?" And that's what we, sometimes traditions are meant to be broken. When me and my wife got married, we created our own traditions. We didn't do things the way our parents did. We created our own because we became a new unit. And so stop wasting all your money on name brand, having to have name brand stuff. Start taking that money and giving it to somebody that can use it like you and your family. Take some of that money you're spending on name brand stuff and do what Dave Ramsey talked about with the debt snowball system. Start getting some of that debt paid down instead of spending your money on consumer goods. Start paying off some of that debt. Take that money you're spending on consumer goods, get you a no-name brand product, and take that extra difference and put it with a bill. If that item you bought costs $20 more because it's name brand, take that $20 and put towards your car note, your monthly car note, or put towards your house note and start paying down some of that principal. I mean, yeah, paying down that principal and tell them you want to apply that to the principal, not the interest. You could do that. And when you start hitting on that principal, then that bill starts shrinking a whole lot faster. And I said, I got them. I got it out my system, and I was done with it. I haven't bought Nike shoes since. And I mentioned on a previous video about buying some Reeboks, but I said I always caught them on a clearance rack. sub $20, because I never needed name brand anything to validate me. I just need some clothes on, and just gave some shoes away. They weren't name brand, and donated them. I didn't give them, and they were. I can't wear them anymore. They're in excellent shape, and I'll be honest with you, I really hated to depart with them. My wife bought them for me. Well, my granddaughter went to the store and bought them for me some years ago, and I take care of the stuff. Now, I'm not saying that, you go buy the cheapest stuff on the rack. I'm not saying that at all. You still spend money on quality stuff, but we are the biggest consumers. Marcus Garvey said that was, and y'all know how long Marcus Garvey been gone. And Marcus Garvey said that was our problem as a people. He said we want to wear our whole paycheck on our back to look good for people that don't even care about us. And he broke down in one of the books. I don't remember which one of his books I read, but he broke it down by ethnic group and said how many times money circulates in the community, each community. And then he started talking about how, hey, you never hear a modern day black person teach you this part. When Marcus Garvey taught, he said, because the system, the people that run the system know we're such big consumers. You got to think, Marcus Garvey wrote this in the year 1922, so 100 years ago. Like I said, I don't remember I have his books here, more than one. And so I don't remember which book it's in, but he said, because the people that run the system know we're a large consumer-minded people, and they know we like to spend our money on luxuries, he said, guess what they do? He said they mark up the price of luxuries. He said, and if you know anything about luxury goods, look, there comes something called a luxury tax with luxury goods. He said, so they're finding a way to take back the money that you've earned on the jobs you work for, that they own and control. So you're losing all the way around, and we ain't figured it out yet. Like I said, you're not going to find any black person in a high profile position in this country tell you that. Jewelry. But we just don't understand. And we love to make other people rich. We love to make other people rich. I remember when I got my first job, on a books job away from cutting yards. Um, well, it was actually my second job because actually worked on a farm after my ninth grade year up in East Texas for a whole summer. I mean, it was hard work, but I enjoyed it because I was outside. I was able to move around. I wasn't confined to four walls the whole time I was working, so I enjoyed working. And so my second job at Ecker Drugs, my little league football coach hired me. One of my little league football coaches, he was a manager at Ecker Drugs, and I was playing ball in high school at the time. And he pulled me aside one day. He said, Myron, he said, let me explain something to you. He said, if you are one of the fortunate young men to make it to the NFL, he said, do not be stupid with your money like these other boys. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? He said, look, he said, first thing you do is get you a place to live. He said, don't do like these boys and go buy 2 and 3 and 4 vehicles so they can just try to flash and let everybody know we got money. He said, he said, if you got a hoopty when you get drafted, he said, keep your hoopty. And I said, all right. He said, you might be able to get you one vehicle. He said, you do what you want to do. He said, but I'm just telling you, he said, get you one vehicle, one nice vehicle. He said, you ain't got to go spend money on the highest vehicle available. He said, if you got your hoopty, keep your hoopty. He said, get you maybe one nice vehicle. He said, because if you ever get hurt and you can't ever play again, he said, you can't live in no vehicle. He said, you got to have a house. He said, and don't be around here letting these financial advisors talk you into getting no note. He said, you pay it off. He said, you got the money there, pay it off. And he said, don't be stupid. He said, you ain't got, he said, if these so-called buddies ain't hanging with you now, he said, if you get drafted, they don't need to be hanging with you then. He said, because all they gonna do is hang around long enough to suck you dry financially. And so, I've had a lot of what we call outsiders, give me some strong life advice. And I remember reading, Charles Barkley has a book. I may be wrong, but I doubt it. He said somebody else gave him the name of that book. He didn't name the book. But he talked about when he came into the NBA, Philadelphia 76ers drafted him. And he said, you had the veterans there, Dr. J and Moses Malone and a few other guys. Was Maurice Cheeks there? I don't remember back then, 1983, 84, whenever he came into the league. And he said he spent money on all these cars and other stuff. He said, and Dr. J and Moses Malone pulled him to the side one day and said, we see you done went spent some money on vehicles that you didn't need to spend. He said, yeah, I'm Charles Barkley. He said, and Dr. J told him, that's right. He said, everybody already knows who you are. You don't have to buy no vehicles to prove it to them. He said, and him and Moses told him, okay, now you go ahead and return most of those cars back to where you got them from. And he said, man, he said, Dr. J told me, when your career's over and you save money from your playing days, say, go buy however many cars you want to. And Charles said, once he retired, he said, I didn't want to spend my money on all them vehicles then. And that's what I was mentioning earlier. Get your debt paid off instead of trying to be fancy. I saw something not too long ago. They said you can finance your car for 84 months. I was like, what? That's a 7-year note. Where they do that at? And I mean, as you can tell, I'm just talking. I'm just rambling because I'm just thinking about things. Because I'm always thinking about the things that actually hurt us as a people. And we got some bad financial habits as a people. And we keep taking bad financial advice from people that don't have our best interests at hand. And so we got to come up off of that. We got to get out of that old bad programming and thinking. We have to rise economically. Stop listening to people tell you that the things you're trying won't work. If they are not providing you an alternative that's going to be a win-win, a win for you, a win for them, and they're promoting something to you that's only, going to be a win for them, you need to run away from them type of people because that's what most of them are doing. They're teaching you how to win for them. You need win-win. Stephen Covey say you don't enter any contract if it's not win-win. He said none of them. He said there's no such thing as you win, I lose. I win, you lose. He said if it ain't win-win, you do not enter that contract, verbal or written. He said it's got to be win-win for all parties involved. And what we've been doing a lot of times throughout our history in this country is we've been in a win-lose scenario. Everybody else is winning. We keep losing because we keep trusting all the wrong people. But we won't listen to the people that's telling us, hey, come out of that system, come out of that mentality, come out of that thought process. The Bible says, come out of her, my people. We still mentally attach to the people who mean us no good. And I just don't understand it. NAACP won a few cases, but what good has they meant for us as a people? Urban League has done a few things. What good have they done for us as a people? Black politicians, What have they ever done? I mean, in all fairness, the only two black politicians that I would have a degree of respect for was Adam Clayton Powell and Allen West. Outside of that, I'm struggling to find one. And Powell was a Democrat. West is a Republican. West is still living. So I don't care what side of the fence you're on. If I believe you're doing good for the people, and so y'all have to get into some study and understand why they got Clayton Powell out of office. Because Clayton Powell, who do you actually think is behind all of your civil rights legislation? It ain't the civil rights crew. It's Adam Clayton Powell. The civil rights crew hijacked it. But if you go look in the congressional records, all that stuff was Adam Clayton Powell stuff. Adam Clayton Powell did all that work, and then black people showed their appreciation by voting against him. You know why black people voted against him? Because he said the members and the men in the civil rights movement were an immoral group of people. He said they didn't mean black folks no good. And since he was considered a womanizer, just like MLK, black people, well, but see, he was more flamboyant. Martin Luther King was a better orator. But, I mean, I love hearing Clayton Powell speak. I'll pull Clayton Powell up on YouTube right now. But Clayton Powell and Allen West, and it might be a few others I can't think of, but that just shows you how significant they are in my thought process. But West and Powell are the only two I can really think of that have actually been beneficial for black people, and they two are the politicians that black people don't really like. The only reason I don't like Allen West because he's a Republican. I mean, he's some sick in the head folks. And so black politicians ain't done nothing as a whole. Don't even get me started on the black pastors in the black church. Ain't done nothing. But sit there and teach you Malachi 3 and 10. Will a man rob God? Yet you have robbed me. Bring your tithes into the storehouse. And the word tithe is only mentioned twice in the New Testament, and both of them are bad. Galatians 6:6 doesn't mean you give the spreaders of the gospel your money. Read all 50, 56, 57 translations of the Bible and see if that's what you get out of it. You're going to find about 6, maybe 7 that talks about giving them money. And I even heard one pastor try to justify you giving them money by saying you're supposed to take care of the Levite. Fool, you ain't no Levite. You might be from tribe of Judah or Benjamin or something like that, but you ain't no Levite. And but like my next door neighbor, she always tells me, we in a mell of a hiss. And our problem is we keep listening to the wrong folks. And I'll be honest with you, if I were to go vote again, Adam Clayton Powell was living, that'd be about the only Democrat I ever would vote for. And because the rest of them useless. Every one of your black Democrats useless. And but y'all around here want to call Tim Scott all kinds of names. Y'all want to call Candace Owens all kind of names. And like I said, I don't vote no more, so I don't care what you do. But I'm just saying, y'all hypocrites. Democrats keep you beholden. Black Democrats keep you beholden to your slave master party. Now, it might not be open slavery today, but you're still a slave. You're still enslaved to the party. You don't even realize it. And every time I say something about a Democrat around a black person, oh, you must be one of them Republicans. Mm-hmm. Okay. I've always been, up until I came away from the Democratic Party, I've always been nonpartisan. No, and the only reason I voted Democrat because that's what my parents told me to do when I first got to vote. And I voted for Slick Willie. And from that point forward, I became nonpartisan. And now I'm just a non-participant. That's the best thing for me. My wife is a non-participant. So the reason I talk about Democrats is because that's what 95% of black folks vote. So why am I spending time focusing on the 5%? You know, and I heard something, and this is not me talking, but I heard a guy say the problem is we keep focusing on the net, on the ass, instead of focusing on what's really doing us damage. And I think the Bible even mentions that. Why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye, but you got a log in yours? So you got a 95% log in your eye, but you want to keep focusing on the 5% in your brother's eye. And then you get mad when anybody talk about the 95%. Because you're still mentally in bondage. You're still mentally enslaved to your slave master. You don't even realize it. You know, we talk about Republican this, Republican that. Who took all the black rights away from them in the 20th century? Democrats. Who had your ancestors enslaved? Democrats. Who you still running to punching the ballot box for when you go to vote? Democrats. Who controls every black community in the United States? Democrats. And you say Republicans are your problem. And I'm gonna go out on a limb now and say it's not even the Democratic politician, the Republican politician that's your problem. The problem is the person that's looking at you in the mirror. Because you still following tradition. See, y'all don't even understand and know who told y'all to turn Lincoln picture on the wall at the NAACP, told them to turn that picture around because there was no need to support Lincoln no more in the early 1900s. No, not to support Lincoln, not to support the party of Lincoln no more. Y'all don't even know enough about your history to know who told our ancestors to do that stuff. The same people who started the NAACP, the same people who started the Urban League, the same people who brought your ancestors over here on them slave ships. But they hired European captains so you wouldn't know it was them that owned the ships. And the same people masquerading as your friend right today. But the same people that finance your civil rights movement. Same people finance your Black Lives Matter movement. And you think they're your friend. Same people who wrote Martin Luther King speeches. But you think they're your friend. Same people who ran the unions that wouldn't let you in so you can get decent pay. But you think they're your friend. Same people who controlling your politicians on both sides of the fence. And it ain't even a fence. They one herd there together. And there's no such thing as separate parties no more. They're one party. They're the same people controlling both of them. That's why you don't get other candidates from other parties on no debates, no political debates when it's presidential election time. But y'all think they're your friend. They ain't your friend. You don't know how to recognize your enemy. And you get mad at somebody like me for telling you who your enemy is. You don't know how to recognize them because you're stuck in tradition. You better study what that Bible says about tradition. I'm gonna shut up now because I'm just mad. I ain't mad. I'm just rambling on, talking. Like I said, I'm just running at mouth. It's after 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm just sitting there talking. I plan on getting about 3 videos recorded tonight, but I just been running my mouth. I might go ahead and record some more tonight. I don't know. But this just gonna be one for this week. Talk to you later.